So, my design goal is for my hopper to have radial symmetry, jump vertically at least 60 to 90 centimeters, and to land on its feet more than 50% of the time. This is my first iteration experimental prototype, and there are a lot of issues with it. There are more than 40 joints on this thing, many of which involve a few press fits. But when I went to put the thing together after drilling out a bunch of press fit holes, most of them were not press fits, which makes for sad times with lots of super glue. This issue may have been mostly due to the abnormally large size of my pilot holes. It could have also been caused by the lack of the correct size drill bits in the shop. Another issue is that the central mechanism has much more friction than anticipated, which really slows down the hopping motion. You may have noticed that there are no surgical tubes in this hopper, and that is because they have fallen out. And the way that the central mechanism is designed makes it very hard to put them back in once you put the whole thing together. Another issue with the mechanism was that with the multitude of bands that I had going in, they were getting all over each other and actually mucking up the mechanism. I also had some issues with where they were attached to these arms here. They were in the way of these legs moving up, which was not good. I was, however, able to remedy this method by putting the surgical tubing in a slightly unconventional spot. And we see how things might work if everything functioned. Another issue that I had was with the trigger mechanism itself. In my testing, the trigger mechanism was working pretty well, but that was with a fairly small amount of force pulling against it. With these surgical tubes, we have a few more issues. So without the trigger mechanism working, it hops a few inches. And doesn't land on its feet. There are definitely some things I can work on for the next iteration. One of the main things holding it back is its weight. It's a little heavy and takes up almost half of my allowed Delvern usage. In order to reduce some of the weight, I could drop some of the legs. I'm currently working with 6 legs. Before I was working with 8 legs. I could go to 4, I could go to 3. 2 would be a little unstable. It would kind of drop the radial symmetry at that point. It also turns out that I probably don't need any legs at all. The mass of the center plate here could potentially just propel itself up anyway. The mechanism I have right now could be improved by reducing the friction in it. I did use some fancy files to reduce some of the friction, but that could definitely be a lot better than what it is right now. There are some good things. I am meeting my radial symmetry goal, which makes it look pretty cool. In going forward, I'd really like to get the trigger mechanism to work under pressure. I feel like with some of my proposed fixes, I could really get the height up a little more than it is. Maybe up to my design goal. Not sure about that yet. But we'll put a lot of time into it this weekend and see. Over and out.